I I don't really think about breathing, but every time I start to think about breathing, then I can't breathe, and it just seems like the hardest thing. And then I feel like I don't have any lungs.
Then you hyperventilate. Well, what I usually find is most of the time we're always taking like shallow breaths and stuff, and
Yeah.
it takes a real conscious effort to like fill your lungs.
Well, now that we talked about this, I'm like, now I'm thinking about it so much, and I feel like the fattest girl on the planet. Like I have like the tiniest lungs or something. Like, stop thinking about breathing.
You are the cuddliest girl on the planet.
The cuddliest girl on the planet
The
with the tiniest
cuddliest,
lungs.
sweetest girl on the planet.
I am joined today by my two guests, Kato and Noku.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, now no one's gonna know like who you guys are. I should have like introduced you and like given you some time. So let's try that again. I guess here's Kato.
Hello.
There you go. And here's Noku.
Hello.
You gotta give me a pass, everyone. This is my first official podcast. I mean, I've done some podcasts, but this is like what I've always wanted to do. It's like a train of thought podcast with some fun guests talking about whatever, because I don't have anything in particular in mind. I just wanna hear and learn from my guests and hear their stories.
Got plenty of them for you.
Yeah, everyone has a story to tell.
Welcome to the Insomniac Express. It will not be stopping at Sleepy Town, Snoozeville, Dozy Falls, Slumber City, or Mesa, Arizona.
So we're starting pretty late for most of us. You must suffer from insomnia like I do.
Pretty much. I have got no sleep pattern at all.
Yeah, I mean this is pretty early, but I do like the idea. Like, there's something magical about doing a podcast at night. Like it just has sort of an air of magic to it. So let me introduce myself first, in case anyone doesn't know. I'm Isabella Bunny Bennett from Steam Powered Giraffe and Movie Mausoleum, and this show's not about me. This is about my guests. So let's introduce Kato. Kato, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Kato, and I'm just a freelance artist here to have fun and talk about random stuff and, just doing my thing. So, yeah. I don't really know.
I know, I kind of just pulled you. We were talking earlier on my stream when I was doing some art. And I'm doing art right now. While I talk, I really like having something to do with my hands. So I'm going to be drawing, and that's so the stream can enjoy my art, my train of thought art, while we're talking on our Train of Thought podcast. Kato's art is amazing. I'll link it when this podcast goes up. But yeah, you're friends with one of my nesting partners, right? Are you?
Yeah.
Devin, right? And Jerica.
Yeah. And Jerica, yeah. I actually met Devin in the Steam Powered Giraffe Facebook group before I actually even know that she was your nesting partner. She had posted some or had commented on some posts, and I just related really well with it, and we ended up started to talk, and just kind of found out that she was part of the group here, and so me and her just been talking ever since, and then me and Jerica started talking, and the more I started interacting with a lot of the Movie Mausoleum and the Discord page and everything, I just became more and more active, and here we are.
Yeah. It helps to have an in.
So
I
it's
guess.
been fun.
If you befriend my girlfriends, but no, they're always showing me art from you and talking about you. So it's hard. You are definitely in the. I hear a lot about you, and so getting to actually talk one-on-one to you is great. So yeah, I'm an artist myself, so just being able to connect on that, I'm sure we got a lot in common. We just don't know it, or I don't know it. You might. Thank you, Kato. Noku, why don't you introduce yourself for our audience?
Hello, I'm Noku Tao. I'm 44. I'm Scottish. I'm easily lost. I went from Unningson in Scotland to Skilling in Scotland by means of mainland Europe, Africa, both the Americas, a small stint in Japan, and then back to Scotland.
Oh, and like you're only on this because your accent is really cool. No, I'm just kidding.
I get a lot of them, but just when I was in America, my off-base job was with U-Haul in Washington State, and so often I would hear customers turn around and go, "Well, I don't know what he's saying, but I could listen to him all day long."
Oh gosh, that's pretty good. You just need a little. You just need to like put a Trump banner in your house, and I think your accent will
Oh
be
God.
better. This is not a politics. Sorry, we just immediately. I told myself don't talk about politics, and immediately go to politics.
You were thinking about Donald Trump as he appeared in one of the Home Alone movies, right?
I
Yeah.
don't know about Home Alone, but he was in The Little Rascals. He played the rich boy's dad. You only see him for like a brief second in the audience of the big race at the end. But yeah, Donald Trump was in The Little Rascals, believe it or not.
Such a robust acting career.
He was in Home Alone 2. He was in the main foyer of a hotel, and he gave Macaulay Culkin directions.
Cool. Well, that's enough about Donald Trump.
You know what's really cool is that I'm 24, Noku's 44, and Bunny's about to be 34. We're almost all 10 years apart.
Hey, a lady never shares her age. No, it's fine. I'm excited. Aging. Sorry, here I am on my Zevia, drinking soda and getting all the carbonated burps. I should probably drink like water on the podcast, not soda.
I just had pink lemonade and a watermelon vodka popsicles.
What the heck?
Oh my
You
lord.
getting loaded on?
I used to have a cat that absolutely loved vodka melon, like watermelon.
I've never tasted it. Never had it. I'm not a huge drinker. I stopped drinking because well, I have a history in my family of just alcoholics, and I was like, I just don't want to do that. Even though I will partake socially, like if someone's like, "Oh, you got to try this cider," I will partake, but it's not something I seek out.
No, I'm definitely the same way, just kind of here and there. I really only ever have like one if I'm out and about. But weed, on the other hand, it's a special occasion thing for me because I have kind of weak lungs, and so I can't actually like smoke. So definitely an edibles guy.
What are your guys' preferred pronouns?
Mostly he, him, they, them is fine, but mostly he, him.
Basically what he said.
Okay, I didn't know that about you.
Male pronouns, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay, not as cool, but I'm just kidding.
I'm far too lazy to think about that kind of stuff.
to give a shit. Yeah, you're pretty chill.
Yes.
Like you're awesome, and our community loves you. On our Discord.
One thing I can't wait is the gym's opening back up. Oh my god, I need to get back to the gym. It was like I've never liked going to the gym like growing up, but like just in like this last year I've like made a dedication to myself, and then all this happened and it's like I can't even go to the gym anymore, and I'm like suffering. I'm like I need to get back. I'm
getting a little squishy. I don't know about you, Noku, but I'm getting a little more squishier these days just because I'm not out and about, so I need to do something.
Health conditions and stuff like that. I've got a condition that it's basically the opposite of diabetes, because instead of wherein diabetes where like your blood pressure like spikes or like your blood sugar, you have issues. I have issues in the sense that I have too much insulin instead of lack of insulin, and so a lot of the quote-unquote weight that I have is actually just basically solidified muscle to the point where it's caused weight. And so it's just like it's like the numbers aren't always accurate.
Medical stuff. I mean, there's an interesting topic. I mean, boy, there's been like 5 topics I've been like I tried to plan in there, But hey, here's one to stick on. My experiences with medical issues and such. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Prone to high blood pressure. And so yeah, I got to eat healthy, and I do that. Probably don't want to smoke and stuff because my family, I guess it's genetic that I'll have heart conditions if I don't take care of myself. But other than that, I've never broken a bone. I've only had like 1 or 2 surgeries. One of them was to fix a hernia. I was born with a hernia. That was a surgery I had when I was like 9. And then I had my wisdom teeth out, and that's it. I've been very fortunate in the health department. Especially because also my dad and my brother both have sciatica, and I got really lucky. It hasn't my discs haven't collapsed yet, so I'm very fortunate that my health has been really good so far. But that might change.
Yeah, I mean, I have quite a few. Let me see here. So if we're going current, I've got a broken tailbone that I've had since I was 4 years old.
Wow.
And it didn't heal right. So if I sit wrong or if I lay down, I have a really curved back, and so I can actually feel my tailbone try to stick itself out.
Wow.
So
A real pain in the
So-
coccyx.
yeah, basically. So I might have to have surgery on that one. I actually have to go to the chiropractor about that. I've got tendonitis in both my arms and hands. So basically, fluid from my joints, like my shoulder and my elbow, will seep down my arm and cause my hands, particularly in my thumb area, to basically swell and cramp. It's like severe cramping in a sense. So that's always joyous amounts. Lots of basically always in a brace, always got something going on. And that's just been going on, I mean, at least since middle school.
Wow.
Just kind of been worse in the last few years. Let me see. I got plantar fasciitis, which is basically like really bad arches in my feet. So
Oh
kind
my
of basic
gosh.
thing. A lot of swelling, can't walk. Have to be in braces, special inserts, and shoes and things like that. So knots and pinched nerves throughout my back. Can't be in one position for very long. Just kind of all kinds of stuff. So.
It's got to be challenging to go through life and just be handed these.
But hey, you got to make it work. There's a lot of support and a lot of things out there that can help. And
Are you considered disabled?
as of right now, no. Potentially could be, depending on as far as like legal systems goes. I am, I guess, like high functioning in a sense. I definitely could
like-
possibly.
Okay, so but it's like the definitions might vary depending on laws and stuff, I guess. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So like at work, if I were to get like a special doctor's note, I can have ADD accommodations. So like I have to have like a special mouse, like the trackball mouses for my hand, and I'm supposed to have like a raised desk and things like that. So like I can have like accommodations and stuff. If like my mobility gets really bad, I can always have like a service dog or something to like help out. Definitely probably need one for mental health. I actually almost had one back in 2017, but my cat does really well for what I need as of right now. So
Did I say it right? Is it disabled? Is that the term to use? I don't know.
it
Depends
definitely depends.
Yeah, which organization or which department you're talking to.
I don't think about all this stuff, and it's I imagine it, not to compare, apples to oranges, but just like in any marginalized community, like if you're not part of that marginalized community, the problems they have, you're not going to be aware of all of those. So it's just like with trans people, that marginalized community, like I talk about it like, isn't this fucking obvious? But you can curse on my podcast. Sorry, isn't this fucking obvious? but it's not. It's like as I've been following like more disabled activists and stuff, it's like, holy crap, I didn't even think about this, and I can actually learn from these people.
I mean, personally, I've always been too proud to describe myself as disabled, though really not to. I sort of think of myself as like, temporarily crippled, but I know other people in a similar situation would turn around and say, I'm not a cripple, how dare you call me crippled?
Well, cripple's like that's like a bad word no matter what. I know that's definitely not PC.
As a noun, yeah, but to say that I am crippled, well, all the things that didn't happen to you in your life happened to me.
Oh God. By then, and that's like, so you were like hit. You got burned by magma. You got like an airplane fell on you. Like, I mean,
I got burned by an
Lightning
EO.
crash.
I got burned by a fuel air explosion. I've been poisoned. I've been stabbed. I've been shot.
oh,
in
no
Seattle.
joke. No joke. Okay, can you
No
like
joke.
spin us a story
Wow.
about this?
Um,
If it's too much, you can always say no, bunny.
with with friends going down to Bogota in Colombia, and went down to the U.S. Embassy. They were all in the military. I was just sort of tagging along, and but part of that was that I had to be. No, I was never in the U.S. Army. I did a lot of voluntary work with them. Like basically, I was a gopher. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be sent to go for this or to go for that. Do T-runs and whatnot. It just helped out as much as it could. And as a result, they would sort of they would take me along on like fishing trips and stuff. And one was a trip down to the US embassy, and they managed to find me some BDUs so I could get onto the Omni flight without anyone raising any eyebrows. Once I was down there, they have something called OPSEC, Operational Security, and you're not supposed to be wearing uniform outside of a government house in a foreign country.
Oh, sure.
I was an idiot.
So what were you wearing?
BDUs.
What is a
Battle
BDU
uniform
for people who are
It,
uneducated like me?
Actually, I think they've been phased out. They got something like ACU now. It's a battle dress uniform. It's the uniform they had about 20 years ago.
Okay, so you're talking military.
No, my wife was. I was married to a soldier.
You had special spouse dressings? Am I? That's what it
No,
sounded
no.
like. Is that?
No, basically, I volunteered to help out because, for the most part, until I got my off-base job, I was basically sitting about the house doing absolutely nothing. So I volunteered as much as I could for anything at all that was going. And for the most part, I was helping out 3rd Ordnance Battalion.
Okay, so they gave you a uniform.
For this one occasion, yes.
Just
not
so you could be
usually.
recognized as someone who's there to help.
Just to make it easier to get past, like security and stuff.
Okay. I think I understand. So
Yeah.
you can continue. Your
No,
story.
but Tal going undercover.
I mean, that's what it sounds like. But go on.
Yeah, Agent Tao. But like I said, it was an absolute idiot, and it's one of these things you never look at yourself, do you? Your eyes are facing outwards. You don't.
I don't own a mirror.
Notice.
I don't look at myself at all.
Yeah. Well, I certainly didn't encounter a mirror between coming off the plane and stepping outside the embassy, and I've forgotten that I was still wearing BDUs. And there was this market, and I'm like, oh god, market! Run across the road, fantastic! Oh, amazing! Oh, what a wonderful! The smells, the sights, the sounds, and oh, that really does smell like poop. But it doesn't matter because I'm here. I'm in Colombia. I love it. And I got stabbed in the chest.
What happened? Wait, that story ended really quickly. You just got stabbed? That was like the most interesting part of your story. What? I gotta know more.
Stabbed.
What happened?
It was a young girl who was a student at the university. Is
Did
pretty
she major in
close to the,
stabbing?
Yeah, she had a PhD in stilettos. No, she had some sort of political grievance with the American presence there, and she took me for she would for an American soldier, and so she thought she was like making a stand or something because apparently I was a bit too eager.
When you cried out, did she recognize your accent? I don't know if people like scream
Well,
out in their accent.
Screaming wasn't really in the cards because she punctured the lung, but I did make an utterance.
Christ.
And at that point, she realised that I wasn't American, and the colour just drained from her face. At which point, the MPs were coming over from the embassy to see what the hubbub was about. And at that point, I had to croak to her to leave, to depart, to vamoose, to vamonos, because she was like frozen on the spot. I didn't want her to get caught.
She stabbed you in the lung.
But she didn't. I mean, people are young and impressionable.
Didn't mean to.
Jesus. So you just accepted this. You were like, I'm taking one for the team.
I didn't want her to ruin her life over it,
Yeah, but she physically harmed you. Like, I don't know if I could be that forgiving, Like, that's...
What's the worst that can happen? I die.
Gosh, that's intense. Did they have to rush you to the hospital? Like, what's going on?
Well, yep, they got me to hospital, and basically I spent the entire week recovering. So much for my holiday in Colombia, huh?
Oh my gosh.
Well, I definitely think that beats my story of running into a truck in 3rd grade. So I mean,
Okay, well, let's hear that story now because now you have me. Now you have me interested. I want to hear about the truck that ran you over.
so first, so it was actually not a moving truck. So when I was
Oh?
Oh,
kindergarten,
hold on.
kindergarten through
The snack cart's coming by. You guys want anything?
Anything from the trolley, dearies.
I'll take another soda, thank you, and I'll have some cake. Cake is good.
Of course.
Ooh, that looks like.
Do they
hot
have any
chocolate.
iron brew there?
take a slice of cake.
Do they? I don't know. I hope they don't have iron brew, but no, they have iron brew because of course they do.
Everything that you want.
But it's warm and it's underneath the. It's like on the bottom.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
fine.
really hot, so it's a hot iron brew.
It tastes best hot anyway.
Do you want,
No,
anything,
it's supposed
Kato,
to taste
from the
nice.
trolley? Is that what they call it in Britain?
Just a,
You're not British. Why do I give a call it trolley? I just imagine that scene in Harry
Just-
Potter. Anything from the trolley, loves? And then Harry Potter's like, we'll take the lot.
We have a chocolate frog, please.
hey, if you ever tried a Harry Potter chocolate frog, highly recommend.
Oh,
I
God.
have not. I have not. I wonder if they have. Oh, they're already gone. Sorry. Okay. Well, anyways, continue on. I'm gonna just crack open my Zevia 0-calorie cola here.
So where were we? So when I was younger, specifically kindergarten through 5th grade, I went to what's called the charter school. So like, you know, like those like fancy like uniform school kind of dealios.
Okay. Sure. So you-
And
okay.
yeah, so in this school, so you had like your specific time for lunchtime, and then because you're young, you want to go to recess, you have your specific time for recess, and they literally had this is lunchtime and this is recess. It wasn't like an in and out kind of deal like a lot of public schools did. So when it was time to go to recess, we all had to line up in not necessarily a single file line, but like at least like 2 or 3 rows, and we were just in a line, and we had to all like march down to the playground before you can be released and go play. So I had this friend, and she was a lot taller than me. I was like this like short little thing, right? And
How tall?
we were
how tall
in
are you now?
5'5". I may be like 3 foot in this story. Okay, like I was small. So one of our favorite things to do was we actually didn't like play on the playground or do anything. What we actually used to do is we used to have this spot that we would go to every day, and we would just talk or we would tell each other stories, kind of like what we're doing now, right? So it was our spot, and it was kind of like up in this like cubby hole in the playground. It was like under the slide kind of thing. And so we wanted to get to our spot so we could do our hour of story time. And so she thought it would be better if she, you know, kind of went ahead so that way she could claim our spot, because I don't know why we thought someone was going to steal it.
Because
so
that's
she
just
went
the way
ahead.
the world works. I found out.
It's our spot, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's
totally.
valuable.
I got it.
So I wanted to try to catch up, and I was not getting anywhere in this line. So I look around, and the security guard had like looked away. So I cut out a line, and I booked it past the security guard. And what I didn't realize is as I was turning my head to see where the security guard was, there was the delivery truck for, you know, like the school's food and whatnot for the kitchen. And as the ramp was coming down, I had turned my head to check the security guard, and before I knew it, I had turned back, and there was the ramp in my face.
Oh god.
So smacked my head, went backwards at least a good like foot, 2 feet onto the asphalt of the ground, and I knocked myself out. And when I had woken up, I had the gym teacher and like the security guard like leaning over me, and like I was like super dizzy, had a headache from hell, and I had sliced the side of my nose open, so it was just like blood everywhere. So had to go to the hospital, had to get stitches in my nose, and of course, lo and behold, they couldn't use normal stitches at that time. No, they had to use bright blue stitches. And for a child who was already getting severely bullied in said school, that was not the best choice for
Gosh,
me.
that sounds really like as an adult, I'm like that sounds awesome, but as a kid, I'm like wow, that must okay. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the story of how my battle with the truck ended up.
Jeez. Gosh.
I have had a few vehicles sort of crush me. I've dislocated both shoulders from a collapsing engine in an old Wolseley that I had.
Oh, jeez.
I'd been crushed and was almost killed by a LAV 25 reversing.
Okay.
Oh,
Again,
what?
Okay, what?
LAV 25, light armored vehicle. It's a big 8-wheeled drive
Okay, gosh. Sorry, I'm a civvy. I don't know nothing about nothing.
podcast. Right, podcast. Imagine big metal, gun on top, 8 wheels, goes vroom, is amphibious, and that's the very relevant point, that it's amphibious. It had 2 propeller screws sticking out the back, and it was the drive to the propeller screws that was the problem. It was like constantly engaging, even when it wasn't supposed to be engaging. And I was signaling to the driver to back up, and when it was clear, but he had lost sight of me just for a couple of seconds, pinned me up against the wall, crushed my chest, and when he realised what had gone, I couldn't even scream. I couldn't even like holler at that point because I couldn't inhale.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't breathe in. When he drew forward and switched off he just switched everything off. I fell to my knees and then fell forward and rested my head against the propeller blade. And I had only just realised before I passed out that, like a fraction of a second beforehand, that propeller was spinning.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I don't mean this in any mean or bad way, but how the hell are you alive?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking the similar things, because you sound like you'd either make a really great, and either a really good or a really bad stunt person. I don't know which it is, but
I'm
it
the
sounds...
worst. I have this theory that, from all the choices we make, there is what people most commonly call a multiverse, what I would call multiple iterations of the same universe. And there are like countless versions of me, and every time something like this happens, like a near-death experience, like about 127,000 of me just wipe out of existence, and I'm one of the ones that I've left.
Oh my gosh, I love that. What if
Yeah.
what if that's true? Like, you would never know that you're the one, because it's like a bunch of you could have died, but you just happen to be living
I'd be amongst the ones that are still alive. Well, the thing is that the ones that have died would be too busy being dead to know otherwise, so it could even be that I am all those that have died and been funneled into one of those that survived.
Okay, think about this, though. Think about this. I lost my train of thought. Hey!
That's about this, yay!
Yay! That's what the whole point is.
Derailed.
You know, I wanted to piggyback on something we said, because we were talking about age, and like we have a very diverse age group right now. You know, like I said, I'm 33. I'm a millennial. And then wait, Kato, you're considered a millennial too, right? Or are you a Zoomer?
There is like huge speculation of my year. My year is the year that doesn't exist, is what it's called.
Okay, so you're probably you're probably a late millennial or an early Zoomer, like one of the
Yeah,
older
I'm
Zoomers.
literally right in between that cusp.
You know, same here, kinda. I'm an old millennial because I was born in '86.
And I think I'm a Gen Z, but I'm not entirely sure.
No,
Z.
Gen Z's the most current. So you'd be Gen X, I think it was called.
Oh yeah, Generation X. Yeah, Z is Zoomers, and then it goes baby boomers, then it goes Gen X, then it goes millennials, then it goes the Zoomers.
Yeah.
See, I remember Generation X being the generation before me, and that we were Generation either Y or Z.
So if you
Yeah,
said
we were part of the next
you
generation.
said you're in your 40s? Sorry, I missed.
Yeah, mid-40s, 44.
So that would be no, I'm not. That I would say you're either a very young boomer or a very I don't know, or a late Xer. I don't know. So Noku is just you were telling me a story about your leg. This was a couple of years ago. I think we were doing like a dinner event in Lincoln.
I'm still suffering from that. It was over a decade ago, and a dog was gonna try and kill my son.
Oh my!
I stopped the dog from getting anywhere near my son, and it decided to take a chunk out of my leg instead.
Okay, yes, I remember this being horrifying. Oh my gosh! When someone takes a chunk of your leg out, like there's not much they can do for you, right?
I have reached a point in my life where my body doesn't recover. I've always been able to recover. When I got shot in the head, I was out that weekend going back to work.
Shot in the head.
What is going? Okay, okay. I don't know which story you want to stick with, but please tell more. Because
mugged and attempted mugging in Seattle, and they shot me in the head and they ran away. I still have the hat that I wore at the time. I've repaired it by putting a hat band on it, but if you have a look on the inside, you can see the trace. It just basically grazed my head, really.
You're Highlander.
If you're ever back in Lincoln for whatever reason, you can even feel it if you want. Okay, that just sounded
Wait,
weird.
did
Do
you
want
say I
to see
could
my
feel
pulse?
your wounded leg?
No, my head, my head wound.
Oh my god, I was just imagining like.
Oh,
So the head wound is healed though, but you got like an indent
The
or
head wound's
something. Yeah.
Well, see, that's the point. Is that by that weekend I was fine. You barely, apart from the lump in my head, you didn't really notice.
Oh,
I've had broken legs that were healed within 2 weeks. Usually it takes about a month.
holy crap.
I've just determined you're Superman at this point. Like that's your secret identity.
Well,
now,
Superman
isn't
has
it?
a cape, so.
No capes.
I am morbidly curious about your leg, but if you don't want to share, I totally understand. If I'm crossing a line, let me know.
I've got flesh. The problem is skin. I'm lacking skin between my knee and my ankle, and it's exuding an acidic exudate, which is also dissolving
Oh my god.
the skin as well,
Wow.
as fast as it's healing. I've actually got chemical burns on my left leg from when when you sleep and your legs are you lean one side to the other and it would drip onto my good leg. And that's just 10 years of an open leg wound that's not healed up.
That's insane, because like they would have to do like skin grafts, right? Or something?
The skin grafts wouldn't work if my own skin, if it won't accept my own growing skin, it's not going to accept skin grafts from elsewhere.
That's awful, man. That's got to be
It
tough.
would just
That's kind of like my supervisor. My supervisor got his foot crushed in the lifts, like in warehouses. You know, like they pick up the big crates, and he got his foot
Forklift.
crushed. Yeah, forklift. That's what
Okay.
it is. And so his entire back of his heel basically got crushed and like everything like popped out of it. And so he like showed me he has. It sounds very similar, like it's always constantly has open wounds because they try to do skin grafts and it just won't take. So he has to have like bandages and like like keep it clean and everything like all the time. And he said it's been like 5 years or something like that now. So it's very similar to that, sounds like.
seems that you pass a certain age and your body is like, that's it, I'm giving up. You gone done fucked up this time, you know. Sorry for the bad language.
No, that's all right.
But yeah, and if it did have a skin graft, it would basically just be floating on like a bed of slough. And,
That's a
and
lovely
extra
image that our listeners get to know. Oh my gosh. But I okay, so like I love Dr. Pimple Popper, but that's the only medical show I can watch. I am so squeamish, but hearing about it is always like this, oh, I want to hear about it. Oh my god, I want to hear about it. It's so like interesting and gross and like but like the human
I can
body...
share photographs later if you want.
No, god no. But holy crap, like the human body is crazy. Crazy resilient.
Yes.
It's resilient, but it's also fickle.
Yeah.
The drop of the hat is just going to drop you in it.
I haven't had any serious injuries. I'm trying to think. Like I cut my finger open with an X-Acto blade once or twice. I accidentally stapled my hand, but none of that's like. I never broken any bones or anything. So it's. I haven't had anything horrifying or super painful happen to me. It don't compare. Like none of these were like lasting damages. I just got like a sweet scar on my finger and arm, and like I can make up a story about that. That's much more exciting than. Oh yeah, I stapled my hand. Oh yeah, I used an X-Acto blade with my little figures when I was 8. And I cut open my finger, so I got some cool scars. The ladies really dig them.
I obviously don't remember this, but when I was a baby, my mom told me I would always get clogged tear ducts. And so they would have to take like a 3-inch needle and scrape my eyes out to try to
Whoa, what?
unclog my tear ducts.
Whoa.
Yeah. I was like a year old and they had to like strap me down and they had to scrape my eyes out with a giant needle.
What's wrong with the tissue? Just wipe with tissue, no?
Probably describes my fear of needles now, and I think I have a good excuse for it.
I'm pretty weird about needles too. I've had too many occasions when someone's like, yeah, do you remember in school and stuff when they give you the inoculations and whatnot? And they turn around and tell you don't move a muscle, don't clench. and you're trying not to clench, but then they just stab you with this little needle. What's going to happen?
And then it's like, you're gonna clench. It's like, all you can think about is clenching.
So you clench and you bend the needle inside your arm, and it takes them about 2 hours to dig it out your arm.
This happened to you. What is going on with your life? And are you just have like the best luck and simultaneously the worst luck?
Yeah.
Did you like get a curse and a blessing, and it's kind of like canceling it? I don't know what's going on.
For me, I see this as being a normal sort of childhood thing, you know?
That's considered normal.
Actually, for our school it was. I remember one kid in metalwork ended up getting stabbed by another kid by a toffee hammer, which was his
Did you say
metalwork
toffee
project.
hammer? Because in my mind,
toffee hammer.
I'm imagining like a hammer that Willy Wonka is using in his factory.
Well, it's pretty much, yeah, it's a small hammer. It's brass handled, got brass head, but more importantly, it's got a brass spike coming out the back of it.
Alright, okay, wow.
And it was a
Wow.
brass spike bit that someone put in between the shoulder blades of another student.
Oh, that's fun.
And maybe I just like grew up in the wrong part of the world.
Well, I'm glad you saved your son, and that's a cool story, I guess, to have. You're like sacrificing your leg for your boy, you know.
I know it's one of these things that you think that it's something that you would do.
I mean, yeah, if you just act on impulse, huh?
Yeah, it was in about 2000. I think it was 2010. When shortly after I'd been bitten, and I was driving my mother to my sister's so that she could look after her grand. Well, my mother's grand means my sister's weans. Children, sorry, not weans. Children. It was like really, really early in the morning, and ended up following this bus through some country roads through the snow. This blizzard just like descended upon us, and I could just see the bus's taillights roll over and drop out of sight. It had gone off a bridge, and of course, the first instinct was to pull over, call for emergency services, get out, and get as many people to safety as possible. And I just thought that was the normal default setting for humans. You know, it's a preservation thing. You know?
I don't know. I've never if I saw a disaster happening right in front of my eyes, I don't know how I would react.
It was odd because there was a couple of people who would not help. Now, there was one fellow in a white van, and I figured, okay, he's a delivery driver. And I was a delivery driver by trade, and understood that if he helped out in any way, shape, or form, he could lose his job over it. Because some companies are real arseholes when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So I understood him, but there was one person in a pickup truck. It was his own pickup truck. He was a farmer, and he was in business for himself, and he refused to help. And I was just astonished that anyone would refuse to help, given a choice, you know?
Yeah, I haven't bared witness to anything like super big. I helped with a car accident, and that one was really weird. And I know I questioned with police. We had a fight break outside my apartment. I did witness my mom falling out of a tree and breaking her back. That one was scary, and I had to be the one to like call 911.
Why
So-
was your mother up a tree?
This is a story.
Yeah, this is a story. So, you know how earlier when we were on the previous chat and we were talking about pets, right? And I said I had my bird.
Uh-huh. The one that would dive bomb people instead of landing
People's chili.
properly. Yeah.
Yeah, that
The
one.
bird in the chili. For those who aren't familiar with, that's a whole other story. There's so many stories that we have, but let's focus on this story. The bird in the chili. Yes, there was the bird.
Bird in the chili. So his name is Radar, and this happened in, I want to say, my junior year of high school. So remember how I said earlier he had a really hard time of flying down, right?
Mm-hmm.
He
Chili
could only
corn
fly
cockatiel?
where he could see. I'm sorry?
Chili corn cockatoo?
Not
Yeah.
everything's a goddamn joke, Noko. I'm just kidding.
So when you have a pet bird, one of the things is that you have to make sure that their wings are what's called clipped. Not necessarily like hurting them, but it's shaping the wings so that way, they
Won't fly
can't
far.
fly away. Right.
Yeah.
So it was around that time when we had to do it for radar, and we just hadn't gotten to it yet. We were going to do it later on in that week. Well, one of his favorite things to do was to chill out on my mom's shoulder. And my mom and I were rushing one morning trying to get things in the car so that way she could go to work and I could go to school and whatnot. And my mom had forgotten that he was on her shoulder. And so she had run outside to take things to the car, and a car horn had gone off and scared him. So he took off. And I just remember my mom come running in and everything. And needless to say, I didn't go to school that day, and Mom didn't go to work that day because we were running around the neighborhood trying to find him. Well, we had heard him basically, not necessarily chirping, but he was screaming. He was crying because he wanted us to find him. And we ended up finding him in this like really old tree in this woman's backyard in our neighborhood. And so we had luckily were able to catch her on her way out of her house to go to work. And we had told her what happened and that the bird was in her tree and backyard. And so she had let us go in her backyard so we could try to get him down, but she wasn't able to stay there. So me and my mom are just in this random lady we never met her before's backyard trying to get my bird down. Well, he wasn't very high, but he was high enough that he was out of reach, and he just wouldn't come down. Like he did not know how to come down. He was maybe 15, 16 feet up. And so we had tried every attempt to get him down, tried with treats. We tried calling the pet control. We tried calling fire department. We tried calling, and like no one would come and help us because it was, to them, it's just a bird, but to me, he was my baby. And so we tried and tried and tried for hours. And so eventually, because he was still there, he didn't fly away or anything, he was just watching us. My mom's like, okay, maybe I can try to get him. And so she tried to climb up the tree and got maybe 4 or 5 feet up, and we didn't realize that the tree was actually rotten, and she ended up, it collapsed into her foot, and she ended up falling. Oh, no. And right on her back. And so I ended up having to call the ambulance, and she had to go to the hospital, and she had a compressed fracture in her back and everything. And needless to say, after that day, I did not get my bird back. So
the birds just took off?
That was...
Yeah, so when the ambulance and, the fire truck and everyone who wanted to come finally came, they couldn't get him down either, and they wouldn't bring a ladder or anything to come get him. So we ended up having to worry about my mom. So we ended up having to leave him up in the tree because we had to get my mom to the hospital. And so after everything at the hospital and finally getting my mom home and everything, she luckily didn't have to stay overnight at the hospital. My dad and I ended up going back to where he was, and he, of course, had taken off. So walking around the neighborhood again, trying to find him, found him in another tree, which was even taller. And once again, he wouldn't come down, tried for a couple hours. And so we ended up having to give in for the night. The next morning, calling him again, he had ended up flying to the tree in our backyard. So he managed to find his way home. Jesus. Mm-hmm. And he was in the tree in our backyard, but that was an even taller tree. So he's finding taller and taller trees in this neighborhood, and he couldn't get down. And that was the last day that I found him, and it was in October. So I'm pretty sure he ended up freezing.
He flew south for the winter, and right now is in retirement, sipping mojitos and chilling with other crocodiles.
I really hope he took off and is living comfortably, but that's a sad story. But it had so many twists and turns.
It has taken me a long time to actually be able to talk about it because it was so traumatic. Losing my bird and almost my mom in the same day, kind of thing. So, I can talk about it now. You
did everything you could, and sometimes that's just. Animals are...
all you can.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Thank you so much to my guests here. We are out of time now. I'm still trying to figure out what what the proper time limit to put on this is, but it feels about just right, just enough, but leaving you wanting more. I would love to have you guys back on the show in the future, but this was very entertaining for me.
Anytime.
Yeah, for sure.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Big shout out to Noku and Kato for being my first guests on this podcast. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, and until next time on the NetherTrain.
Have a good night.
Good night.
That bird story made me sad. I feel bad for Kato, but they're a cool dude. Those are both cool dudes. This was fun. We should do this more often, Train. Train? This one goes out to the birds. Highlander, sell me your Skylanders. Tell me your story about the days you got your head caught in a bear trap. Well, you lived to tell the tale. You was eaten by a whale, teamed up with Pinocchio after falling in a molten magma. Up in the sky, you were free to fly. Might be in Florida at a Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. Highlander, sell me your Skylanders. Tell me a story about the days you were true to your heart. I really need those Skylanders. They're a collectible item these days.